Hi guys, Chris here with Super Savvy Travelers. Hey, today I want to go over the hidden costs of renovating a €1 Italian house in Italy. Now, this is going to be generalized in Italy in general. A lot of them are in Sicily, a lot of them are in Calabria. There's a few sprinkling here in Tuscany, and there's a few along the coast going down to Calabria and Marche and those regions like that. We want to go over this because it sounds too good to be true. You go, oh, €1? That's a no-brainer. I'm there. Not so fast. First of all, let's look at why are these houses so cheap? The first reason is because the younger Italians don't want them. You know, grandma lives in a hill town here in Italy. She dies, her house sits vacant for decades, literally for decades, until somebody takes an interest and comes in and wants to clean it up, you know, and fix it up. Now, I will say that the €1 houses are not grandma houses. These are houses that have been abandoned for a long time, and they are crumbling ruins in general. They need total makeovers. The reason that these hill towns are dying out is because the kids don't want to live there. They want to live down where it's comfortable, close to work, with all the conveniences and services and everything that they have. They have families, they need a garage, they need a yard for the kids, they need all of these things, and they need comfort, and they need accessibility and really conveniences because, running a house and having kids, we all know how that is. So that's why they're not doing it. Now, I will say that to reverse this trend, because the Italian government is very focused on it, but they haven't seemed to stumble to the obvious solution, which is what we did in Santa Domenica Tellao. We, Super Savvy, with the mayor, with all of the people in Santa Domenica Tellao, we turned it around, we boomed it. And so many people came in, they bought, they renovated, a bunch of money came in, and it was a huge success story. And I say that without reservation. It wasn't just us. We did the marketing. We did we brought the people in, but they did the renovations. They did all of the other stuff that actually really boomed this hill town. So it's possible. And in fact, we were going to do it with our Casa de Fuse project. If anybody wants to boom a hill town out there, message me. I'll give you all the details on exactly how to do it. So, however, I don't see a lot of that happening. I see a lot of marketing efforts aimed at bringing people in, but they're not coordinated and they're not focused on the real things that actually bring people in and get them to move there. So that's one of the reasons that the hill towns are dying out. And in order to counter the dying outness of the hill towns, they have decided to put in these €1 Italian house schemes. When I say schemes, I mean, I don't mean to be negative on it, but they're schemes and they're gimmicks, and we'll go over that too. All right, the second reason that these €1 Italian houses are available is because they're usually in inaccessible hill towns. Now, there's hill towns and there's hill towns. We live in one in Torita, and we were in one in Santa Domenica Tellao. They were relatively accessible. Yeah, there was some windy roads, and sometimes you have to go over some bumps to get there, but much of the time they were very easy to get to, in a relatively small car. However, I have seen some roads out there in the hinterlands of Calabria, and I can only assume, driving on Google Maps, trying to get to some of these €1 Italian house towns in Sicily, it's rough. And you probably don't want to be in an ambulance coming down from one of those, because I can only imagine how that would be. In addition, a lot of them don't have services. They don't have medical nearby. You have to really research that and make sure that you're not getting yourself into a place that's so isolated and so remote and so inaccessible that getting in and out, getting your services, and getting medical care when you need it is a problem. Now, another reason is that they don't have a lot of attractions. There's not a lot of things that attract them to tourists. Now, of course, it's a hill town. You're going to have views. All the hill towns have views, and that's wonderful. But what do they have that's going to make people, tourists, retirees, anybody want to come there and actually purchase a property and live there? What is there besides the beautiful daily life? And they all have beautiful daily life. A lot of these towns that offer these houses don't have a lot of things that bring tourists them. Now, another reason they're so cheap is because a lot of these houses are in really, really bad condition. I mean, they are crumbling and they are a danger to the comune and the people around them. I've seen some things in Santa Domenica where, they've blocked off, a whole via because there's a danger of falling rubble. And if they can sell these for cheap and get them renovated and structurally set up, they'd be in pretty good shape. And in fact, if it was the ideal scene, a whole town with a bunch of people renovating could actually, structurally fix up the entire town. I don't see that happening just with the €1 Italian house scheme. So let's look at the costs before you get started. You're going to have to buy the house, so you're going to need to pay your real estate agent probably about €1,000. Your notaio's fees, taxes, associated fees, anywhere from 800 to 3,000. I would say probably close to €2,000. That includes the stamp fees, the registry fees, all of that other stuff too. So your total cost for the purchase probably could be anywhere from 2,500 to 5,000 euros just to be safe. So that's just for the purchase. In addition, you're going to have to buy a cautionary performance bond for 5,000 euros. Now, this cautionary performance bond is you are guaranteeing that you are going to finish your renovation within a certain time period. A lot of times it's 3 years. And I'm going to tell you why that is the biggest no-brainer as to why you would never want to do something like that. Okay, so if you don't finish your renovation within that amount of time, you lose the bond, 5,000. You lose your money you just spent on purchasing, another 5,000. You lose materials and renovation costs that you've already put in the house, and you lose the house. Okay, so one scenario, you buy the house, your bond, 5,000. Your notary's fees, let's say another 5,000, so that's 10,000 right there. Let's say you spent 5,000 for your materials, and you already spent 10,000 for your, construction fee. So it's 10,000, 15,000, and then what, another 50, what? You could be in 30,000 into this thing, and you don't finish in time. It goes away. They seize your house if it's not done in time. And yes, it does happen. That right there is the main reason I would never enter into one of these contracts. It puts you in a box. And what happens when you're in a box? What happens if people know that you need to finish on time? Well, let's look at that. So the contractor knows this, all right? He might have 10 guys ahead of you. He might say, yeah, we can do this. And then there's no way it could ever happen. Okay, that could happen very, very easily if you're in a town that's marketed and only has 1 or 2 contractors in it. I mean, getting contractors here in Tuscany, it's tight. Sometimes you have to wait a while, and you don't have a lot of time to wait. You have to wait for the contractors, you have to wait for the permits, you have to wait for all of these other things. By that time, if you have a 3-year period, it starts getting real tight. The contractor knows this, prices go up. So let's look at the bare naked renovation cost for a €1 Italian house. For a small apartment, it could be about 30,000 to 50,000, but I'm going to tell you some things that might make it go up in a minute. For a small house, 50 to 80K. For a full restoration, could be 100K plus. Now, I have heard of places in Zambuca where the woman spent 450,000 euros for her renovation. She loves it. Good on her. Okay, other recurring and hidden costs. So EMU property tax, about $100 to $400 per year. Utilities, approximately $600 per year for a medium-sized apartment. Maybe more or less if you're running the air conditioner a lot. Engineer or architect or geometra, this will be the person that runs the project. It's your general contractor, 2,000 to 5,000 euros. And building permits anywhere from 500 to 4,500 euros. Now, I will tell you with the €1 Italian houses, you're probably going to need that 4,500 euro permit, because that is for heavy-duty structural stuff. And a lot of those houses, I would say the vast majority, need heavy-duty structural repairs. Rubble removal, 1,000 to 3,000 euros. So those are just some of the hidden costs. Now, let's go over some other things. I've seen some of these €1 Italian houses. I've seen houses that have been sold, and you might have to, in order to secure your unit or your house, you might have to fix things on both sides. You might have to fix if somebody's above you and their roof is leaking. That means your unit's affected. Water intrusion can happen on the sides, it can happen from underneath, and it can happen from above. So if any of these around you are not secure for water and for other things, mold and that kind of stuff, you might have to fix them to secure your unit. So that's going to dramatically increase the cost. And there was a situation where a person bought a beautifully renovated apartment, and the apartment above was open to the sky. Now, of course, the contractor or whoever was selling the place did not disclose to her that that was open and that there will be water damage, because there will. It goes through the walls and into your apartment. If you're down below, it's going to come, water goes down. So in any case, that has happened before, and that's something that you definitely want to look at as well. Floors and ceilings, many of these were done with wood, and the wood has disintegrated, and you have to redo the floors and the ceilings. Now remember that when you get estimates from your geometer or your architect, estimates are estimate and they can be underestimated, especially if they really want the gig. Okay, so just understand that. Now, here's some of the major drawbacks that I see with regards to these particular types of contracts and houses and schemes and whatnot. It could be that the contractor is tied up and he will never get to your house in time. Renovation costs are very high. The €1 price is symbolic. The real cost is in the renovations. And depending on where it is, it could be that materials have to be shipped in. That could cost a lot of money. And as I said before, there could be hidden costs in there, meaning you have to fix the floors and the roof and the sides and everything else. Now, some of the things that we can find surprising and that may not be disclosed in any of these particular documents that you sign at the notaio is that there's no plumbing, there's no electricity. These houses were abandoned before electricity came in and before plumbing came in. So you have to bring all of that in, and the roofs are collapsing, the floors are collapsing, all of that stuff. None of that stuff really is going to be outlined in particular in any document that you're going to see. So your best bet on that line is to go through your geometra and have him outline exactly what needs to be done. Now, another drawback is that resale can be very difficult in these remote towns with these €1 Italian houses for reasons that I've already outlined above. Now, you've gone in, you've paid your bond, which you may or may not get back. I don't know exactly how tight they are on releasing your bond once you finish. But let's say you're into it for 80, 90,000 and you got a house there, and it's a beautiful house. There's no question about that. But you're in an inaccessible village that's surrounded by other €1 Italian houses for sale, with not much there, with services far away, with medical far away, and that kind of thing. You're not going to be able to resell it for what you put into it. Bottom line, I can almost guarantee that. You know, if you market it greatly and you have a huge YouTube channel, yeah, you probably could do something like that. But even then, I think it would be a tough sell. So just know that going in. Now, I sit here and I've just pooped all over all of your dreams, and I realize that. So I'm going to give you the alternative right now. But first, I want you to like this video and subscribe to our channel here, but also go over to school, which is down in the details, and subscribe over there, because I give a lot of free content. And in fact, I have a little freebie coming up for you guys that I think you're going to like. So now I've just destroyed your €1 Italian house dream. What is the alternative? And there are some very, very good alternatives that I'm going to recommend right now. And in fact, I'm going to give you a free giveaway, which is some links on idealista.it for some options that I think are much better than a €1 Italian home. So go join our school community, because I'm going to put it up there as a free download. We have a lot of free stuff there. We have courses in the classroom. We have all kinds of really fun things there. And you can download these things for free, and it's free to join school. So go down and join our school community right now. Now, bottom line, why, you don't want to buy a €1 Italian house because it's too risky, it's too expensive, it's not what the ideal scene. Because what you want to ask yourself is, knowing I'm going to spend, 80 to 90,000 euros, would I want to live here if I knew I was going to spend that? And you have to answer. If you have family in that village, wonderful, do it. Do it. It's great. But if you don't, and you find out later that you don't want to live there and you put in 90,000, it could be a problem. So what's the alternative? Well, there's a lot of houses that are in the historic centers, because they're being abandoned, that are in much better shape. Somebody's grandma unfortunately passed, 10 years ago. Okay, probably needs, new electrics, probably needs, new tile and some paint and everything else, but the structure is in great shape. Buy one of those and give it to Lorella, our beautiful architect here in Florence, and she brings her people out to different areas in Tuscany. Have her go through the property, have her do the project, and you end up with a beautiful house for probably around the same amount of money that you would spend on a €1 Italian home, without the headaches, without the inaccessibility, and without the stress and the risk involved in that horrible "you have to finish in 3 years" contract. To me, that's a no-brainer. I just would never do that. Anyway, I have seen that since we got here, and since we brought a client here, and we've purchased a property, and we've been online and featuring properties, that a lot more properties have come on the market here in the historic center of Torrita di Siena, and they're beautiful properties. So I clicked on a few of these. I'm amazed, because when we got here, there wasn't that much. But now there's a bunch of options that I would seriously think about if I were looking right now. So I've made a little PDF file of those, and I'm going to give them to you for free so you can go look at them. That's just Torrita di Siena. We're not even talking about Siena Lunga or Betole or these other beautiful little hill towns here right in the heart of Tuscany. 10 minutes from Montepulciano, 10 minutes from Pienza, 25 minutes from Cortona, 45 minutes from the lake, Trasimeno, and close to Perugia, and all these other beautiful places around here. To me, that's the no-brainer. So give it a look, and if you are looking seriously at €1 Italian houses, put a comment down below. I want to know your thoughts on this video. So there you go, guys. Hope that helps. See you soon.